What's going on, everyone? I'm just getting into my car. Alright. So, tonight's topic I thought would be a really good one to cover in terms of movement literacy and understanding and get the ABCs of movement. And what I mean by that is when we go to learn something for the first time, say example, we're in primary school, we're learning to write, and we're learning to write the alphabet, so the A's, B's and C's. We do a lot of repetition. So we try and break it down into what we're trying to create, which is obviously sentences, words, write paragraphs, stories, whatever it may be, letters. And the ability to do that must come from writing the letters A's until you get the repetition all the way through the alphabet. Then you can actually start putting words together. Now, then once you've got the words together, you can start making sentences, paragraphs, stories. Obviously, that takes a long time to develop. This is also the same thing with movement as well. But with movement, it can be sped up in certain ways. But when we come to the gym, and a lot of people that are new to the gym want to lift weights and whatnot, they take for granted movement. Movement is something that needs to be taught well and needs to be executed well on a regular basis, and also to retain, maintain, and progress over time. And I think the biggest focus for a lot of people is they try and look at what's new or what's big on social media, and they kind of lose the point of this is where they are. And if you look at the person, they could probably have a phenomenal physique, move really well, and they discredit the amount of work that's taken to get there. I don't understand the amount of work to get to that point. It could take months, if not years, of deliberate practice. And this is exactly the same as treating the gym as a classroom. As we should be able to practice basic movements. It could be something simple as how to reach, to how to retract the shoulder blades, how to depress the shoulder blades, to how to hip hinge, to I wouldn't even go into single leg movements, to do ground-based movements, ground-based unsupported movements, then go to standing supported, then standing unsupported. These are the things that we need to think about when we're trying to build someone to move well in the gym. If they want to lose weight, put on muscle mass, improve athleticism, and usually they're the three biggest goals that people want to achieve. And that's only going to come when you develop movement patterns. When you develop the movement to move well, the muscles can actually function as they should. When they function well, you burn more calories because you get stronger over time. You'll be able to improve your endurance. There's just a multitude of things that actually happen. And probably just kind of wrap this up is when we learn the ABCs, basic movement patterns, the basic primal patterns, that has a huge transformative effect. And what I like to tell people is, like, when we learn to move, you don't want to be doing complex movements from the get-go. And what I say is, when people do complex movements with no structural foundation or integrity, it's almost like you're building a house on water. It just implodes. Nothing happens. There's no movement foundation. There's no transfer effect of anything. So basically, they're just going from 0 to 100 without taking all the little steps necessary in order to get there. And that doesn't create long-term accountability, responsibility, ownership to training, nutrition, mental well-being or whatnot. They're just not taking ownership of that. And it needs to be progressive. Just kind of building on that is you want to build a solid foundation, concrete on a solid foundation, concrete slab, and that's basically your foundational movements. Then you start to go slight variations, which is your walls and ceilings, framework. Then over time, all the accessory stuff like the furniture, paint, electronics, white goods, that's pretty much all the accessory stuff, if not all the more complex stuff over time. So you basically want to build a strong, solid foundation so you can put more things into it. When you learn all the basics and do them well over time, you can do more complex stuff as a result. And I'll give you an example. So if you learn how to squat, you learn how to RDL, then you can actually really well, and with decent load, you can then learn how to do Olympic style movements, because you have the solid foundation and the motor patterns in order for that to actually transfer across. I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for people who are watching. Every Monday night, if you have any questions, post them down below. Share this with anyone who thinks they're really cocky, can do anything they see on Instagram. Peace. Lift heavy.